Howdy, gamers. It's a great day. It's a great day for horror and death and eating other humans. One of the greats is back, Vita Carnis, for season 2. And it's been a long-awaited wait. For those unaware, I would say Vita Carnis is one of the top-tier analog horrors out there. Right up there with The Backrooms, Mandela Catalog, and Vita Carnis. I really think it is up there as one of the top 3 just because the premise is crazy. I have not covered chapter 1 because I've already watched it all and gone over it on my own before I started doing this. If that is something you wish for me to revisit, I will if I get enough requests for it. However, I am going to point you to actually watch the series, as you should, or any of the other YouTubers out there that have covered season 1. But since season 2 is back at it, I'm going to be covering the first new episode of season 2. And then from there, I'll probably wait until the season gets a little more fleshed out and then make another one. But since this is brand new and I'm really eager to see where the story goes, but here's the TLDR of Vita Carnis, just in case. The quick summary is that these different types of creatures spawned up all over like northern Canada, I believe, and are made of meat. And some of them are very friendly, some of them are pets, some of them are clones of humans that are cannibals and eat you in your sleep. Yeah, a lot of meat, a lot of gore in this one. My stomach can't handle gore very well, but we're gonna jump right into this. So strap in your headphones and let's get to gobbling down that meaty goodness of Vita Carnis. Fuck me. Warning, this video talks about and shows imagery of graphic content like flashing lights, gore, violence, death. Viewer discretion is advised. There's your warning.
Today something has happened within the restricted zone, where a large group of cultists have been apprehended. Several teams of military personnel have arrested some high-ranking cultists and have unmasked their identities to the public.
Hang on, I'm gonna go back and read that. Cult leader apprehended. Military veteran Simon Vanguard found to be the head of the secret organization. Simon was arrested during the raid of the Landborough Mall when he was found leading high-ranking cult members in a ritualistic sacrifice. Custody of Simon was handed over to the police by Carnis. Okay, Carnis, we know who they are. And like I said, if you're watching this, you really need to have prior knowledge to the Vita Carnis lore, because I will not be covering it in this video. When he faced trial for his crimes.
Identities to the public. Shockingly, several of these members are well-renowned politicians and high-ranking members of multiple governments across the globe.
Many documents have been released providing sufficient proof of the atrocities that were being committed. Some of these crimes include murder, kidnapping, torture, ritual sacrifice, and the list goes on.
The members are found guilty of deliberately providing false information to the public in an attempt to cause harm.
The New Trier Company has been found to have very significant ties with cultist activities and has been shut down.
We knew it.
All New Trier products have been deemed hazardous for consumption.
Cultivation farms are facing pressure to shut down.
Public unrest grows as the New Trier cult case brings more crimes that were hidden away to light.
The people are outraged by how little was actually being done.
They demand that something be done
Whoa.
to handle the Carnis species.
Riots appear in the streets as protests begin to turn aggressive.
Our leaders were plotting against us. Who do we trust? What happens now?
Secret World Order?
Test chamber 1 now in use.
Welcome to Magister's Wonder Show.
All right.
I am the Magister, and get ready to explore all of the world's wonders.
Why this
Today,
cute?
We are learning about the circle of life.
Guess not. Dr. Marshall Trados, head director and doctor of Carnis. Project report, Vita Carnis. Date 1991, June 30th.
Test report number 4. We still know very little about the nature of the entities. There are 7 singularities in total.
Oh.
Each singularity is roughly 1 meter in diameter. They are made of an unknown material, although it looks and feels very similar to glass. We are unable to sample it in fear of causing potential damage. The material is very dark in color, but has red shimmers of light swirling inside. There are some hints of other colors present, but is mostly dominated by the red. Each entity hovers above the ground in a stationary position, although they can be moved with relative ease. Our equipment can detect some subtle pulses of energy in rhythmic but random patterns.
That's straight up an evil laugh, bro.
We don't know what they are. We don't know if it is breathing or communicating. We don't even truly know if they are even organic. This is nothing new, just confirming what we already know. Our first experiments didn't give any interesting leads. The most we got was some interference with electronics, especially when there is more than one kept close together. But the experiment we conducted showed extremely significant results. The experiment played out like this. In test chamber 1, a live cow was released into the chamber with V1 for an extended period. They were left together for 24 hours. The test showed minimal results from the entity and an increase in stress
Just
from
a
the
cow walking around.
Next, the body of a cow was put into the chamber with V1 for 24 hours. The results were extraordinary. Hours after the whole body had been ingested, concentrations of Kroll rapidly grew from several points from within the chamber. What this could mean, it rewrites everything we knew about the Vita Carnis species.
Allow the Kroll to grow out.
First, a young larva hatches from within its egg. It will roam around and find food to help it grow and grow. Once they are big enough, they transform into a pupa, and after some more time, they transform into an adult beetle. The adult beetle will go out into the world in search of food.
Dr. Rhodes Kreese, crawl specialist, head cultivator, progress report, Scandary Carnis, July 31st, 1991.
Audio log. Progress report for crawl samples. Cultivation has been successful. So far, we grew them with 3 specific environmental factors. 1 is our control group, 2 with access to additional nutrition sources, and 3 with exposure to radio signals. Group 1 grew on par with standard crawl samples. No distinct abnormalities. Group 2 grew at a faster pace than the control group, as expected. No distinct abnormalities. Group 3 grew against its normal pattern, weaving its way toward the radio. Once the device was claimed, it switched to usual growth patterns. Again, no distinct abnormalities. In conclusion, the samples that were grown in V1's test chamber don't seem to differ from others grown from other sources. Still, we will continue with more factors and further groups, just in case. There have been some developments in the propagation group. V1 samples have seemingly been able to produce nodules at a slightly quicker rate than wild samples. Control groups show that V1 samples begin node development a few days faster. More time will be needed to say for sure, As for the notes themselves, there aren't any distinct abnormalities. We've successfully hatched a dozen Carnis juveniles, several trimmings, 2 meat snakes, and even 1 mimic. We will be sending them to the enclosures after everyone's reports get sent out. End log.
No thanks. Stop.
And then is ground into a fine mince and is now ready for the garden.
Dr. Fawn Petrino, trimming specialist. Progress report. Ignavus Carnis. Date: August 31st, 1991.
Audio log. Progress report for trimming colony. Significant progress in learning the social patterns of a group of trimmings we have been keeping together. A new batch of juveniles were added to the main colony at the beginning of the new progress report.
Sorry. Again, for those who are unaware, I really like this because those trimmings are practical effects. This guy, I think his name's Damien, he made these and for the video, which is really sick, honestly.
They were accepted into the community immediately. No conflict or rejection observed. They did provide the circumstances to document more of their interactions. Trimmings communicate through a series of vocal cues. Colony members meeting the new batch with squeaks and squeals. They also are not afraid to show us when they are upset. Trimmings
I did
also
not
use
like
some
that.
physical displays as well. For example, trimmings do a chewing or chatter motion with their mouths when they are happy or interested in something. The experiment that we performed was to explore the extent of their communication skills. The test went like this. We took one of the trimmings and had them in place in a modified enclosure. A speaker would play 2 separate audio cues. A positive cue would play, followed by a treat, and a negative cue, followed by a small spray of cold water. We did several rounds of both audio cues to condition the trimming's response.
Oh, God. I feel bad for the little guy. Quit! He's sad!
After the test, the trimming was released back to its colony. And after a few hours, we tested how much the trimmings communicated. Another speaker was placed near the colony's enclosure, where we played the same audio cues.
Oh.
It is incredible to see how layered their social interactions can be. Although, we tried something a bit bizarre. We found out that a wild colony had settled around the facility recently. It was strange what we did. It was a long shot.
I know what they're about to do.
We set up a radio device near the wild colony and near ours. We linked both devices up and played the cues.
Oh my God.
There's many dangers out there in the world. There are many predators that would love to have beetles for a snack. And unfortunately, not all beetles make it. Yes, it is sad, but that's how the circle of life works. But look, one of the beetles has laid eggs. And once the beetle's eggs
I really like this character.
the beautiful cycle starts again. And life continues on.
Fuck yes. Let's give everyone their just credits. Great job, Darian. I got your name wrong. God bless you too. Well, goddamn, that actually answers a lot of questions from the first series. Like I said, if y'all want me to go over the first season, I will. But I need to get enough requests because it won't be genuine because I've already seen it multiple times because it's one of my favorites. So, but I'll gladly go over it again, but hopefully won't talk too much. But what we learned in this, and again, I'm speaking as if you all already know what's going on. The singularity was like the most mysterious one we learned about last season. And the majority of last season kind of explains what each tier of Vita Carnis is, what each entity does, how it operates, and kind of its function in the world. 'Cause we now know that it's a hive mind. It's a fucking hive mind. The crawl, the trimmings have a hive mind. Even if you teach it to one group, the other group's gonna know about it because they tested it. So the crawl decomposes that stuff and turns it into mimics and trimmings, and they were able to synthetically replicate these things with this specific crawl and feeding it things and feeding the singularity things, and it spawned new entities. This thing is a hive mind. The singularities are the minds of each group. I know that like each entity chunk is controlled by a different singularity, and they have the crawl mind in their facility, in Carcass's facility, because Carcass took that singularity, or maybe all of the singularities, and took them back to their base from the cult members. Things are getting spicy up in Vita Carnis Town, because now we know it's a decentralized hive mind. It's a hive mind! We knew this! We'll be back, Vita Carnis. You and me, we'll be back. Trust me. Alright, that's it for this one. See y'all later.